Hi, this is Keiko from Brooklyn Shoe Space, Quarantine Edition Shoe Talks. We are inviting Sarah Sandsted and Julie Colombino of Deux Mains Designs out from Haiti and their sister not-for-profit portion, which is Rebuild Globally. We'll talk about it a little bit, but I think we're going to be inviting the Deux Mains Designs. Hi, you're here. Okay. We'll hear all about their factory. I don't want to waste our time there, but Rebecca and I had the opportunity to go and visit their factory last year, and it was a fascinating space, the people, the work they do. It is very inspiring. So I just wanted to highlight what they do and hear how they're doing during this COVID times. Okay, let's see. I have to invite them. Hi, Sarah.
Hi, Keiko. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Wonderful. Thank you for inviting me to be here today.
Yeah, no, thank you so much for joining me. So,
My pleasure.
how is COVID times? How warm is it right now? Is it super
Well,
hot?
it's so hot, and a lot of it I think has to do with the fact that we just had this sand in the air from the Saharan desert. It was blowing across
Whoa.
the Atlantic, and it was so it was like a solar eclipse almost. It was just
Whoa.
crazy, and it made it really hot. It's been really hot down here.
That's so crazy.
I'm sure you
Uh,
remember that though, the heat in the factory.
I was just sweating everywhere. But yeah, no. Tell us a little bit about how did you have to slow down a little bit during COVID and how
Yeah,
everybody is? Is
absolutely.
everybody healthy?
Everybody's healthy. We're very grateful that our team is all well and safe. Um, we did have to slow down significantly due to just general safety precautions, but also a government mandate. We're
Okay.
only allowed to operate at 30% capacity,
Wow.
which for us, we have about 40 employees, so that's about 13 people max in here. So we just
Mm-hmm.
rotated a schedule to make sure that as many people that could have access to work, we try to do that. So we have teams, as you know, we have different teams on the floor, and we just brought in a couple people from each team, kind of on a bi-weekly basis, or a bi-monthly basis, I should say.
Okay. Wow. And the public
Yeah.
transportation, they have to take
Yeah.
a tap, for example, to come
Well,
to
no,
work.
yeah, I mean, that is the way that folks come to work here, is in a tap, which is very overcrowded. And
Yeah.
so we didn't want to subject our team to that kind of risk. So
Yeah.
we actually have provided everybody with a transportation stipend that was
Wow.
coming in to make sure that they could take a motorcycle in, as opposed to a tap, which normally is a little bit too expensive to be doing every day. But
Yeah.
it was certainly worth keeping folks, safe for sure.
Yeah. No, for sure, sure. Um,
I see Julie's with us now, Keiko. I don't know if you want to.
yeah, yes, that's great. I don't know if I can in I can't let me just check if I can join her. No, I
Okay.
think it's only one at a time. So I'll talk to you first.
Okay.
And yeah, and then I'll switch to Julie if that's okay.
Great. Sure. That's no
Yeah.
problem.
Yeah, let's go back a little bit in time. Tell us a little bit about yourself and your work and like how did you start doing the shoes? I know Julie would be able to talk about it as well, but
Yeah.
how you came to Deux Mains and
Sure.
what you do, and also a little bit of tour of the space would be amazing.
I will be happy to do that. Yeah. Why don't we start with that? Actually, no. I'll give a little background and then I'll give a little tour. Sorry. I was just thinking that the team leaves, but they don't leave till 3:30, so we have plenty of time.
Yeah.
So yeah. So I'm Sarah, and I'm the vice president of Deux Mains. And Julie is our CEO and founder and president of Deux Mains. I think she's joining you next after you and I finish up here. But Julie founded the company in 2010 after the earthquake, and I'll let her kind of speak about her story and how that all started. But basically, in a nutshell, Deux Mains is a alternative. It's instead of charity, it's a job creation initiative. Haiti suffers from extremely high unemployment rates. And after the earthquake, there was a lot of aid coming into the country. There was a devastating earthquake in January of 2010, and there was a lot of aid organizations coming in to support people who had been injured or who had lost their homes in the earthquake. And Deux Mains was sort of born in that time because Julie recognized a very, very strong conviction of the people that she met here, that they really, really wanted employment as opposed to charitable support. So fast forward to 2013, I joined the team when the company was about 3 years old. Julie had decided to start this business as an alternative to charity to create jobs in Haiti. And she had seen men in Africa making shoes out of tires. And that's where the idea came from. She said, you know, there's lots of tires here and not a real way to dispose of them. So she started with just 4 women under a tent, carving out the sidewalls of tires with razor blades and making these sandals, really rudimentary sandals. And now fast forward to today, we have 40 employees, and I'll show you what the factory looks like in a minute here. Fully solar powered factory. We produce all kinds of beautiful sandals, handbags, jewelry, much thanks to the help of you and Rebecca. That was, I can't wait to talk about that too. But yeah, I joined the team in 2013. And I have been with the company for almost, 7 years now, and have just watched it blossom and grow into a beautiful ethical fashion company.
That's so great. Do you, running a factory even in the United States is like, there's not that many that's out there. How do you have mentors, for example, to run the factory?
Yeah, well, it's funny. It's this growth kind of happens slowly and organically, to be honest. If you had asked me 7 years ago if I felt equipped to run operations in a factory that employs 40 people and has some pretty sophisticated processes, I would have told you absolutely not. I don't have the training for that. But because we are really proud of the fact that we're a slow growth company, we really intentionally have like really intentionally grew at a slower pace so that we could really keep up and make sure that we were doing things right and learning from mistakes before they became too detrimental. And so I've kind of learned as I went, because keep in mind, when I started 7 years ago, it was a very different production process. We were in a small workshop with 10 employees at that time. And so it was something that was much more grassroots, and it's turned now into really full scale manufacturing. Yes, of course, we've had mentors along the way, however, so I don't want to say that we just figured it out. Honestly, you and Rebecca were huge mentors for us, especially in the shoe design space. I mean, Julie and I, neither of us come from a shoemaking background. So we learned so much from both of you. And that was just such a fun time when you were here. It really was. It was very
such an experience for us too. And it was, I was like heavily pregnant, but it was such an experience for us too. And it was really encouraging and also like really inspiring, really. Everybody's like mentality. Yes, I really respect what you do out there.
Thank you.
So would you be able to show us a little bit of the space? And maybe I'm not sure who feels comfortable with being on the camera, but we'll say hi.
I just blacked out there a second. There's not very many people here today because we're actually preparing the space for a hopeful reopening next week. The airports are reopening, so it's going to look pretty empty, but there's a few staff here. Let me just turn this camera around 1 second. There we go. Okay, so this is the space. Our factory, like I said, is 100% solar powered. And so everything that you see here is running on solar energy. It's a 4,400 square foot facility, and we moved here in August of 2018, and we had moved from a 400 square foot container. So
Wow.
we, increased our space by 11 times.
Wow.
So we have a really interesting space, as you know, Keiko, because we combine different types of manufacturing.
Yeah.
We do a lot by hand
Mm-hmm.
to kind of keep the integrity of the craftsmanship and really make it beautiful artisanal work.
Yeah.
And I'll show you what Michelle is doing, for example, down there in a second. That's a lot of handwork, but we also have a lot of industrial processes, as you know. This is Jolena. I don't know if you remember Jolena.
Yes. Hi.
Here, I'll put it so she can see you. So, Keiko.
Hi. I'm not pregnant anymore.
Je suis dit, il n'est pas enceinte encore. Oh, okay. Puis nous, je suis Keiko.
Hi. Hi, how are you? Technology is amazing.
Yeah.
That we can do this.
Okay, so like for example,
Wow.
what Michelle is doing here is a lot of hand work. These are journals that we're making from this really beautiful cow leather and inner tube. When we decided to expand out of footwear and make other products, we had to use something that came from the tire, so we chose inner tube, as you know.
Yeah.
So that's repurposed inner tube.
Yeah.
And then down here is where you spent a lot of your time while you were here, Keiko, working in more of the shoe. There's no shoemakers here today because they rotated in last week, so the space is empty for now. But this is where a lot of the industrial processing happens, as you know. Shoemaking completely by hand is very tedious, and there's a lot of potential for error. So we've invested in some machines that help us do it better. And then this is where the solar energy is stored, and our solar panels are out here.
Wow, that is amazing. That's
solar
something you have.
One of the best decisions we ever made. I mean, I don't know why everybody's not running on solar. The sun is never not shining.
Yes.
So,
where you are, for sure.
Yeah, well, we are. That's right. In Haiti, that can say it's one of our greatest natural resources, for sure.
Oh yeah, yes. And the equipment, are they working okay now? Like I'm just, maybe I'll catch up on that like privately.
Yeah.
But this is amazing that you brought the resources, together to get the equipment, and then
I'll show you. Sorry, I'm gonna go back to the office so I can hear you better. Sorry, the fans are quite loud.
Yeah.
But I grabbed a pair of sandals so I can show what they look like as well.
Sounds great.
So how have you guys been doing with everything with COVID up where you are?
Well, we all had to lock down. Rebecca went to her folks in Wisconsin, and I also went upstate. And we are just, locking down. We're slowly opening up. I think Rebecca's almost back to Hoboken now.
That's great.
Yeah. And for me, I think for the summertime, we're just going to be upstate. And then in the fall, we might reopen again. But we closed the location just because we couldn't do any classes for the whole summer.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you mentioned how you have about 40 to 50 staff members. Do you train them from the beginning? I know, like, I'm going to pretend like I don't know anything.
Okay.
And how do you find the talent? And let's talk a little bit about your other venture, which is a not-for-profit portion that provides the program to. Yeah,
absolutely. Well, thank you for bringing that up. Yeah, so that's the really interesting thing about our model, actually, is that, we really believe very firmly that job creation is the solution to eradicating poverty in a place like Haiti over time. The more jobs you create, the more people can feed their families, and the more people can live autonomously without the support of charity, because nobody here wants to receive charity for the rest of their lives, right? So, but what we found with the job creation piece is that while there is absolutely no lack of enthusiasm for the job, and there's no lack of desire to work hard, and work ethic is, it's really high here. There is an issue of there's lack of access to education from a young age. So in Haiti, the estimate is about 90% of kids are actually enrolled in elementary school. They call it primary school here. But by the time they get to secondary school, only about 20% remain enrolled. And it's more often than not, actually, it's a financial issue because school is not free here. It's privatized.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So then by the time they get to their senior year, I don't know what the number is of how many of those 20% actually are able to continue on to their senior year. There's a graduation pass rate on the national exam of somewhere between 30 and 40%, depending on the year. So very few people here actually are able to graduate high school. And then beyond that, only 1% are attending university.
Wow.
So, running a business here and without having a trained workforce is a serious challenge. And so while we believe really strongly that the job is the answer to helping folks climb out of poverty, young children don't have the opportunity to work. They need to go to school, right? And if their parents can't afford to send them, then it's a barrier that's insurmountable. So Rebuild Globally is our nonprofit, and it's our sister organization. We have a small campus not far from the factory where we conduct tutoring sessions 5 days a week, and we have 32 students enrolled in our education program this year. Tutoring sessions. There's a Saturday program where they learn civics, leadership, health, nutrition, all kinds of different leadership courses so that they can become young leaders in their community and eventually leaders of their country, hopefully. And then once they graduate that, and Rebuild Globally then pays for these students' high school and all of the fees that are associated with that. It's a scholarship. And then once they graduate high school, they go through a paid job training course, a 6-month job training course where they learn things like what's hierarchy, why do we pay taxes, what does it mean to be a good employee. Those are kind of like the administrative parts of it. And then they also learn how to make sandals and how to make handbags and how to be good craftsmen and women. And then they get a job after that. So Rebuild Globally supports young people through charity in the beginning stages of their educational journey. And then once they graduate from the program, it's almost like they're graduating from charity. There's an exit strategy so that these folks then can come to work and be able to provide for their families without charitable support. So Rebuild doesn't exist without Deux Mains, because it's not enough just to put kids through school and then say, okay, now good luck in a country with almost no employment opportunities. Right. But then Deux Mains, really depends on Rebuild Globally to create a really highly skilled, trained workforce so that we make the best products and have the best team possible.
What I also, it's amazing what you do. I also was amazed by that there were some staff members who work part-time at Deux Mains, and then they also were part-time in university or continuing education, trying to get like a doctor's degree or lawyers, becoming a lawyer. I feel like that like drive and the confidence all comes from what you've been providing them and how you work with them, which is amazing.
We have 8 members of staff who are working full-time, and then in the evenings they go to university in evenings and weekends. And what our nonprofit Rebuild Globally actually offers them is a match scholarship, so that a certain amount of money can be pulled out of their paycheck every 2 weeks, and it goes into a special account. And then once they've saved for a certain number of months, the nonprofit will match whatever they've saved, and that's to go directly to their university tuition. We have 2 nursing students, a doctor, a student in studying medicine, accounting, law, hospitality. So we've got journalism. So we've got a really interesting array of, And it's pretty cool to have a staff of 40 where 8 are enrolled in university when the country has less than 1% attending.
Yes.
So, our numbers are our little ecosystem here is it's creating a new standard.
Yes, definitely. And I feel like, the standard. You're creating a new standard. That's it. Oh my goodness. Do you think you can show us a little bit of your the sandals that you create?
Yeah,
what's your best sellers?
Well, I pulled one of our new sandals here. We're using a different leather now than when you were here. So they look a little bit different. Let me just see if I can flip the camera around so that I can do this more justice than just holding it up. Okay. So this is one of our best sellers. It's called the Hand Sandal. And so this is a cow leather strap, and the footbed has our name there, Deux Mains. And it's a really classic slide sandal. And then, of course, the bottom is made of tires.
Yes.
So this is our signature tire sole. Yeah. And every single one is so different because they're made from, the sidewalls of repurposed tires. Yeah. So this is one of our best sellers, and I can pull a few more. Hey, lovely, will you go grab me a couple of Belle Nam, please, in white paint? Yeah. So that's one of our best sellers, and this is actually Lovely. She's a graduate of our education program, and she's the administrative assistant. So, do you remember Keiko? Lovely? Yes. You see Keiko? Yeah.
Hi.
And then also we make handbags and jewelry, but sandals is really where we started. Get a new one.
You make it sound like it's like such an easy feat, but at the same time, what were the challenges of making a tire into a flat? How do you do that? Do you do everything by hand?
It's not easy. Yeah. So everybody always thinks that we're using the tread of a tire, but we actually use the sidewall. So the sidewall of a tire, for those who don't know, is this part of the tire, the part that's that shows when the car is driving, not the tread, because these treads are lined with wires that we wouldn't be able to cut through. So the sidewall is what we use to make the sandal, and they're kind of pressed out almost like cookie cutters with dies. And then unfortunately, the tire is not really ready to wear on the bottom of a sandal because it's very thick and it's very heavy. And so by hand, in fact, Marco is bringing some up right now. I'll show you. By hand, they're slicing the sandals, the tires. The machine that we got to do that was just too dangerous. We were too nervous about having the blade we're a little nervous about it. Eventually we'll find a better way of doing it, but for now it's by hand. Marco ginket kauchu kamutim. So this is Marco. Marco is working tirelessly on the soles here. So it kind of starts like this. The sidewall is cut into sections like this. And then the sandal is stamped out. Yep. The sandal sole is stamped out, and then they are thinning them by hand. Wow. You can see the knife blades. Yeah. The knife nicks there. Yeah. But the problem with that is that's too rough of a surface. So Marco spends his days sanding them down smooth.
To make it smooth.
To make it smooth and able to attach. And then, like I said, every single tire is totally different. He's got a bunch that he was working on sanding today. So, it's definitely, a lot of people have this misconception that it's like a free raw material, but the amount of labor that's involved, not only in processing them in-house, but also collecting them.
Yes, I was going to ask.
Them. It would definitely be less expensive for us to buy them, buy pre-made soles from abroad, but it's a part of our mission statement. It's a part of our founding principles to make things out of upcycled materials. We have our founding principles here on the wall, and that's number one is upcycled. So, we just are really committed to continuing this.
Just to give us an idea. just to give us an idea, how many tires can you collect in, say, like 2 weeks of time or 1 month of a time?
Well, every tire makes 6 pairs of sandals,
Mm-hmm.
and we produce up to 30 a day, depending on the
Wow.
order. So I
Yeah.
don't know what the math is on that. 5 tires a day. So yeah,
Yeah.
if we were going full throttle, we could repurpose 150 tires a month.
Wow. And do you actually get?
They would otherwise be burned. I mean, there really is no means of
Yeah.
tire disposal here. They incinerate them
Oh.
in the Central Plateau here, and so
Uh,
that's an environmental disaster for not just Haiti but the world. I mean, the
world.
atmosphere is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have another
How,
sandal here I wanted to show you.
yeah, I want to see. So
One
how
second,
many
sorry.
tires? Wait, so I saw like a top picture with like somebody, bringing in all the inner tubes. How many tires can you collect in like a month's time?
How many can we collect?
Yeah.
Well, as many as we need. I mean,
Oh,
we have
okay.
a truck here, and we go to a tire dumping station. There's a
Wow.
tire collection network in Haiti where
Uh-huh.
people go to
Okay.
get their tires changed, and if their tires are no longer usable, then they just leave them at these stations, and then these big trucks come around and pick them up, and then they dump them at a station. So we're actually authorized partners of that tire
I see.
station, and we can go whenever we need and fill up our trucks.
That's great. Okay. Thank you. Oh, I might have lost you for a second. Ah, I want to see a new style. Oop, I think she might have gone offline. Let's see. Julie's here, so I'm going to put her on, if that's okay. Oop. Hi, Julie.
Hi.
How are you? I'm so sorry, Sarah, that I think the Wi-Fi, somehow the connection we lost. So I'm going to have you hop on really quick if that's possible.
Yeah, of course. I'll tell you, I was just listening to you guys talk, and I remember you at the factory, and you were so pregnant. I'll never forget you putting your belly on top of the table at one point.
Yes, I was like, I think it was just about a year ago, right? I think. Yeah. She's now 8 months old, really thriving.
Yeah, we follow your guys' journey. It's been really fun.
Yeah, thank you. So how are you and where are you located? And can we talk a little bit about who you are, how you started Deux Mains?
Yeah, of course. I mean, so right now I'm at our distribution center, which is my garage in Florida. So behind me is where we do all of the warehousing and shipping for our online store from here. So we actually do it both. We do it from Haiti and we do it from here. So we've been trying to really increase our online sales as everybody has through these challenging times. And so to make it easier, we have this center here so that we can just really ship quickly and get people what they want as soon as possible. So you really had the interesting time with Sarah because all the magic happens in Haiti. But so I'm here, and I know you guys already talked about the sandal, but I don't know if this was the shoe that you worked on.
Ooh, I want to
so
see.
Much.
And thank you. Sorry, Sarah says sorry. Yes, it's okay. We decided. I figured maybe it's a Wi-Fi connection. So yes, we got Julie on.
Not usually our friend in Haiti, so you had her for a while. So hopefully I will. If we can get her back later, that would be awesome. But Keiko, this is the shoe. Like this was so this wasn't our #1 selling sandal. Then this is a brand new upper, so this hasn't even been launched yet.
Ooh, it's super colorful.
It's all hand painted. So we had worked with some Haitian artists in the past that were painting different things for us. And then when you showed us how to perfect the slide sandal by, we had a problem. It was too thick here. It was complicated. And what you and Rebecca did was you opened so many doors because we could change the upper in such exciting ways. And then what you know, helped us understand is to help our craftsmen and women really hone in their skills is don't change the design every 5 minutes.
Right.
And, you know, it's interesting being a small brand and trying to continue to be sustainable and ethical, but then fighting this battle with fast fashion and trying to have something new all the time.
Right.
You know, we found ourselves in a conundrum. But I think when you taught us that respecting our craftsmen and women, I think those were the words that I needed to hear and say, okay, so we simplify designs, we make, you know, and we figure out creative ways. And then also by using hand painting, we employ more artists.
Oh, that's great.
So,
that's great.
Yeah. So it was a win-win. So I'm really excited. And to be honest with you, I think our website is going to be launching in the next 24 hours. And so these will be on there. I know we're just so excited about it. But yeah, so I think, you know, Sarah, you know, really told a lot of our beginnings. And I went to Haiti 10 years ago as a disaster responder. And really, I think, you know, the biggest lesson I learned was that I wanted to be a woman who could be proud of who she was. And the women of Haiti, with their perseverance and their dedication, you know, showed me that. And I was only supposed to go for a couple weeks to a month, but here we are 10 years later.
Yes. Yes.
And you know, couldn't be more grateful for the spirit of Haiti and through all of their challenges. And you know, it's an interesting time now because the world is suffering through COVID.
Yeah.
And you know, you're getting this kind of idea of the pull that people in poverty and in the developing world feel daily. You know, we had been a travel for advisory for 18 months before COVID started because, you know, we have you know, all
political unrest or
That's right. And you know, and so that those types of decisions affect everything. They affect economy, they affect sales, they affect tourism, visitors. And believe it or not, Haiti does still, you know, rely on tourism. Yeah. So it, you know, so for the first time, we felt like in a decade, COVID has kind of, you know, maybe shown the world, you know, what it's like when you're so out of control. Yeah. And, you know, we, like everyone else, pray that this will be over, you know, as soon as possible and that people stop being affected negatively. Right. But we have tried to focus on the positive. Yeah. And we can truly say that we believe that people's buying decisions are altering.
Definitely.
And you know, purchasing by small and buying local, and these things are just so important. And the decisions that the power that we have as
we all have. Yeah.
I mean, we're not powerless, and I think that is one thing, you know, for the environment, for the economy. Yeah. If we can really hone in on that power, then we will see different. I think we'll see a different outcome. So. Yeah, I agree.
Sorry. And you're in the forefront.
Talk for hours. Keep going. Sorry.
No, you're on the forefront of, or you've been doing it for a long time, which is amazing. Do you feel like, were there any other challenges? I would love to hear if you had challenges having the factory, and if you ever thought, okay, this is not working, I don't want to do this anymore. If you ever had that emotion and how you overcame it. And yeah.
Yeah, probably more times than I would like to admit, because it's almost embarrassing of thinking of how many times I did want to quit, because it is so hard. You know, doing business, I think anywhere is hard. You know, Haiti, I'm a woman, I'm a foreigner. I didn't speak the language. Any just of the normalizing things that can help you sort of, I mean, I didn't have any of that. You know, and Sarah really, when she came to Haiti seven years ago, you know, that was her first job. And I was like, you know, Sarah, I want us to be a registered business. So in Florida, I'm not really sure about New York or the rest of the states, but in Florida, you can register a company online for about $75, 24 hours, and it's done. It took us 365 days and thousands of dollars to register our business in Haiti.
In Haiti.
Yes. Wow. And so people say, well, why would you register your business in Haiti? And we did that because we had a fundamental belief in employee ownership. Yeah. And, you know, we really believe that, you know, if we're going to fight poverty at its root cause, you need ownership. You need some kind of, you know, empowering thing. And having a business in the States or having a charity in the States that, you know, is doing work in Haiti didn't feel like enough. Right. You know? And because of that decision, you know, we've seen so many pros and cons because of it, but I don't think we would ever change it, you know? Right. And it really is, it's the team that founded this company. It's the team, it's everybody that's come in and out. And so it's really interesting to say, like, you know, you were with us for a week and we were probably talking for months before you and Rebecca came, but it had a lasting impression. I mean, just so you know.
That's so good. That's so great.
And it's very, very true. And it's every single person that has come through has had that. I mean, truly, over a decade, I can't think of one person who hasn't touched us in a very significant way. And, you know, that might even be a negative way. Usually it's positive, but that's the kind of thing that you need in the community, I think, that people talk about, that keeps the type of business going.
Right.
And, you know, it's been a lot of trial and error. And I think something that we held on to in the very beginning was what we call painfully slow growth, right? Painfully slow. And
what, 3 steps forward, 1 step back, you know?
Always.
Right?
I felt like we were in slow-mo half the time, but we did it because when we would make a decision and make a mistake, we would hurt a lot of people. And you can see that. I mean, when you have to hire people and fire people, or, you know, you lose a raw material supplier, I mean, every single decision we made intimately impacted the lives of the people that, you know, we were living with and their families. And that's a huge responsibility. And so we took it very, very seriously. And so we just started, we moved really slow. And, you know, I mean, I've had people say to me, my God, you know, after 10 years, you should have done so much more. And trust me, we feel that pressure too. I mean, you know, and sometimes we'll be like, oh, whatever, what are you doing? But, you know, sometimes, if I want to be honest, you feel that pressure because, you know, we have a 75% unemployment and underemployment rate in Haiti.
Wow.
You know?
Yeah,
again,
that's really high.
It's so high. And I mean, and I think, you know, in America, we are going to start to feel, I mean, globally, we're going to start to feel that because of the effects of COVID.
Yes.
And so I think, you know, again, and not to harp on this, but these decisions to shop locally and to shop small business
Definitely
matter more now than ever.
Yes, I agree. Yeah. And I would love to actually, sorry, I'm going to go back a little bit because we cut off with Sarah. Can we see a few styles? Do you have a few styles that you can show us that are your, did you kind of go, narrow down to that one style, or do you still have other styles that you sell or make?
Yeah, me. Yeah. Oh yeah. So we narrowed down. So we did what you said. We narrowed down, but we also clean. So that normal, regular slide sandal, we still do it in the cognac.
Yeah.
We still do it with the inner tube. So this is, I mean, but it's so beautiful now. And it's just the time to make too. I mean, and that's what I think you really helped us do, is to increase our efficiency.
Oh, that's great.
And, you know, because it was important to us to try to, you know, still make a competitively priced leather sandal that was handmade. By increasing the efficiency, we were able to do that. And then, of course, I'm not sure if you remember one of our fashion ambassadors and good friend Heidi Morris, but she had designed the Belle Nom sandal.
Yes.
And you guys worked
on. Love these. Yeah.
Yes. And this, again, we have another hand painted shop. But I mean, I don't know if you remember, but this is our new improved ankle strap.
Yeah. I love it.
So for all you guys watching, back in the day, you know, we really struggled to make the ankle strap fit properly. There were so many things, and also it was about a 98-step process that we had, and you and Rebecca, I think, got us down to 15 processes. So this is still another one, and we used to offer this in like 8 colors, and now we have 3.
Okay. Wow. But the styles are great.
Yeah.
And the bags are great. I mean, everything. I'm just amazed about like what can come out of your factory. Like the craft. It's kind of amazing. Do you always wear them? I actually ordered, and I was so surprised. It came like in 2 days or something. I'm like, what? During COVID.
That, and I was so grateful. So I have to tell you, so this is really still a family-run business. So my mom does all the shipping and warehousing for us. So she's our volunteer warehouse manager. And she told me, she goes, oh yeah, she goes, somebody just said something really nice about how fast we got them. I said, way to go, Mom. You really got
Definitely. That's the great thing about working, like, in a garage or somewhere where you can access, right?
Yeah.
So wait, I guess I might go into the business side of things. You basically wear so many hats. Like you sell, you get grants, you know, you manage everybody as well as design to wear test to, you know, managing everything. What's the favorite part about your job and what's the least favorite?
Okay, so I mean that's easy. So being a shoe salesman is probably my least favorite. So I mean, shoes, you know that shoes are so hard. I mean, wide width, skinny feet, long, you know, half sizes. It's like, oh my, why, you know, why did we do shoes? And then, you know, by the bottom being a repurposed tire, which of course we would never change it. It is a raw material that's not, it's not a predictable raw material.
Yeah.
So, you know, and so all of these things combined do make it more challenging. So I say I don't like being a shoe salesman, but I actually really am starting to love it.
Yeah.
I mean, no, in my heart, I mean, I love being in Haiti. So it's so funny, Sarah, you know, but Sarah runs everything in Haiti. And I mean, because of COVID, I haven't been there since January.
Wow.
It is the longest in 10 years I've been away from the team. And it's,
you miss them so much.
So much. Yeah, so much. But the proof's in the pudding. They don't need me. So this is more about me missing my team and family and not about them needing me. But isn't that exactly what you want for your business?
Yes, exactly. You want them to be able to do it themselves and thrive, which is amazing.
And you know, between, you know, Sarah and her leadership and the rest of the leadership team, I mean, they have just, I mean, I think you saw Lovely earlier on the phone.
And the video,
Yeah, and her colleague Brony, I mean, they're university students, but I mean, they are just in there every day, and they are, you know, they're running the place, and I truly hope they fully own it someday, truly.
Yeah.
You know, and the rest, I mean, they're wonderful, and I'm sure you remember Manouche, but she is just like, I mean, she's all over it. She's a quality control goddess, you know, and it's amazing. It's amazing to see. So I think I really miss the Haitian, you know, lifestyle and our just, I mean, Haiti's energy. Hard, but you remember, I mean, it's also a very beautiful place to be and to remember, to be.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you think you were mentioned a little bit about how they should own it? Would you think like down the line, 3 to 5 years, maybe 10 years, is that sort of like your future goal as for Deux Mains?
I mean, we had said 100% employee ownership in part of our like bylaws earlier, but I'll be very honest about some of the challenges that we face. So the education system in Haiti is terrible, as you know, Sarah was talking to you before, and that's for a combination of reasons. But I think the statistic that always haunts me is that 1% of Haitians go to university. I mean, 1%. So all of those management tools and, you know, all these specialty skills to run businesses, you know, if it's owned by 1%, that's the hardest part. And so I think that's why through our education program and our matching, I mean, I know half of my team's going to go out and be doctors and lawyers and accountants, as they should be. But I really hope some of them stay to do entrepreneurship and business management because so few people have access to university. And that's a crime in itself, isn't it? And so I think that's our biggest challenge. So even, you know, when we said earlier that we wanted 100% employee ownership, it's going to have to be, you know, it's going to take time. And that's where, you know, having so like you said earlier, we wear so many hats, both Sarah and I, right? I mean, on Monday, you're thanking donors for contributing to the education program. On Tuesday, you're trying to run a sale for a new sandal on what, you know, it's this thing. But it truly is, if you were going to fight poverty at its root, it's a holistic approach. And it is going to be both charity and business. I mean, that's our belief anyways. And so do we wish we didn't do both all the time? Probably, because it's exhausting, but we're grateful for our position.
Right. And also like it is like ecosystem, like you need both to support each other, which
it feeds into each other. True.
With the COVID though, and the manufacturing side of things, you could stay open like, you know, 30% capacity, for example.
I mean, Sarah has just, I mean, she's worked so hard. I mean, her and the team, they, you know, making sure there's hand washing stations and taking temperatures and spreading everybody out and rotating schedules. I mean, it wasn't easy, but yes. And then also, thank God, we even got some good mask contracts, so we were able to contribute to that and help out there. Yeah,
you were making PPE. That's great.
They were really doing all that. Sorry, it's hot in my garage. And Sarah's probably like, are you really complaining about the heat? I'm sorry. And then our education program, like every child, I mean, of course, you know, we had to stop that. So
okay.
So
are they still closed right now?
Yeah, and so so we don't have our own school. We participate in the community by having sponsored students in the schools, and then we have our own tutor and training program. So I don't know what's going to happen. I had heard rumors that they was going to do like some summer school. I don't really know if that's going to happen, but I mean, every child in the world seems to be 3 months behind now, and so I mean, we're committed just like everyone else to ensuring that these kids catch up in some way, however that has to be. And so we will definitely make sure that that happens however we can. I mean, obviously, you know, we have to follow mandates and follow the rules like everyone else, but it's important that everyone is focused on ensuring these students do not fall behind.
Yeah. And do you think has the government kind of told you that when they can open up, or nothing yet?
Sarah told me that they are going to open the airport tomorrow, I believe.
That's a big deal, but the schools are in a way difficult because there's so many kids from all over, and they're like in a space. I just wanted to know if they're gonna, I guess it's summer vacation now, maybe.
It is summer vacation, you know, and it's important to think of this too, you know, social distancing in a place where most of the population doesn't have electricity or running water is nearly impossible because people have to go to the market every day, you know. So we've already had enough challenges, and I think, you know, Haiti did close its doors early on to protect its citizens, which is, you know, they should be.
That's good.
So I don't know, and Sarah's definitely more educated on the current happenings of Haiti, so she might want to pipe in, but I'm not sure if she knows either.
Right. Okay. Yeah. I'm really hoping that you guys can, you know, open up education portion. It can, you know, have a little pause, but I hope you guys can come back up and running.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, for sure. Message from you. What can we do to help? Is it the buying your amazing sandals and bags? Is that the best way for us to help from the US?
Yeah, I mean, you know, as people always ask us, so should we donate to their charity or should we buy? The truth is either. They're equally helpful because we believe 1,000% in our programming and we believe 1,000% in our products. So it's truly is either. What I always find is the most honoring is when someone's buying a gift for someone else from, you know, so when people are thinking like birthdays, because it just kind of means something. If someone thinks our stuff is nice enough, you know, to buy for someone else, that's always very touching to me.
Yeah.
You know, like most people these days, we've been doing a lot of online flash sales to move inventory so that when we do open up from 30% to 100%, we have work for our team members.
Yes.
And I'm sure this affected you and maybe a lot of people watching this, you know, all the trade shows were canceled.
Yes.
So we had paid for trade shows and then they won't give you your money back because it's an act of God. So, So we're signed up for the trade shows next year. And so, like, you know, God forbid, hopefully everybody can, you know, still be open to the trade shows next year. We all lost our marketing budgets, didn't we? You know, that's where it went. So participating in our live shows, I'm going to actually be doing an Instagram live on Wednesday for our UK followers. So my husband's British and we live half the time in the UK. Have a great following in the UK, but it's hard because we don't have a warehouse. So shipping is ridiculously expensive, you know, $20 international shipping. So, you know, we're going to be doing a huge sale on Wednesday again. I mean, visiting buying. And we just, we're opening up we're starting a new website, and I just have this app where you can round up your donation, like to go to our charity. And so
that's great.
I thought that was pretty cool. You should look into that too if you guys do that, because it's very cool. I'm like, I know if we do that at restaurants where you can like round up. So like now if your sandals are $69.84, whatever, you can round up that last few cents to go.
That's great. That is fantastic.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm going to post about your website and the Instagram and everything. I feel like what you're doing is just amazing. So,
and you know, the other thing is I really want you back out there soon.
I would love that if we can help in more ways. I actually have like a ton of questions for you, but I might do this offline. But about like what I can do to help, because the direction of, because of the COVID, I had a little time to pause what we were doing and think about the future. And I have a few directions, and one of it involves you guys. So I have to.
We would love that. I mean, because I think the other thing to mention is that everybody has a talent. And Sarah might have said earlier that we're not shoemakers, you know. So I recently had a friend, a good friend from years ago, who's an incredible jewelry designer. And she's offered, you know, we're looking at how she can, you know, participate in our jewelry line. And it really is those talents. We humbly acknowledge, you know, what we're good at, what we're not good at, but we also acknowledge how we're great learners. The whole team is great learners. So throwing in those skills are amazing too.
That's great. Great. Yeah. So we'll definitely keep in touch with that one. So yeah, no, I have all these questions about the tires, the inner tubes, you know, and everything that you've been doing is just like building it one at a time. It's just like for me, it was like mind blowing. And the solar power, it's just
had to do solar.
Hats off.
Solar was such a big initial investment, but man, I mean, we just felt like if we were going to be responsible, we were going to be responsible, you know, in every way that we could. Right.
And so if there's any natural disasters, for example, happening, you guys have energy, which is amazing. And do you actually
like when the next natural disaster?
My goodness, let's hope not that happens. But do you also provide electricity to? Is there excess enough to provide for the other people around?
So solar, that was one of our big dreams, and we didn't calculate the new machines that we got properly, but that is one of our future dreams. We are gonna have to increase our solar capacity so that we can also have a solar bank for the surrounding community. It was something that we had tried to set up for in the beginning, but unfortunately we use all our power.
Okay.
And so what we have to do now is re-rotate our machines.
Wow.
And again, so that when this first happened, and the guy came in, he goes, "Wait, you only got half the solar you needed." We're like, "Wait, what?"
Oh,
because doing all this stuff is so it's intense, right? Yeah. And oh my god! And so we thought, well, we didn't raise enough money to do any more than we had done. So we put all of our machines on a rotating, and it works. And that's the thing.
Yeah.
You can make it work.
Yes. And you don't need to use all the machines all at the same time.
Exactly.
So, yeah, exactly. That works. That's great. Who designs your collection, and what's your inspiration? Like, you always do come up with like new designs. You have a bucket bag. You have like the waist, kind of like a fanny pack. I don't know what you call it. The bum bag.
Yes, we love that bag. And also, I'll show you another little secret. This one's gonna come out. This one's coming out. It's called the Sarah bag.
Ooh.
It's absolutely stunning.
Wow. Yes. That's beautiful.
And so, you know, so to answer your question, who designs it, it's always a collaborative issue. When we, you remember Laure, our Belgian, she actually went back to Belgium earlier, I guess last year. But she was very instrumental in the bag designs. But how we always start is we look at our local materials, because we source everything locally. And then if we can find a new local material, that's really what changes the collection. So it's always about the raw material. So it's about what we have in Haiti available to us, because importing is just a nightmare.
Yes.
And also it's a lessens our environmental footprint to source locally.
Yes.
And also, you know, you can contribute to the economy. So for example, all of our horn, and you know, we have a beautiful belt, and one of our partners, Christelle from Atelier Kala, she makes this beautiful locally sourced horn.
Wow.
on our really awesome belt, you know. So so that's really important to our values. So I think we design based on our values. Yes. And then when we have experts come in, so I mentioned earlier, my friend Erin is helping with some jewelry. So she's looking at our inspiration, our local resources, and then putting in her talents. And that's what we always are definitely looking for, is the talent behind the design. So I'm definitely not a designer, and also our Haitian team has a lot of input, but sometimes, for example, we used to do very thick, bulky sandals. It was a much more Caribbean, Haitian design, and it didn't sell as well in the States because it was more of a thin, feminine look that our customers were looking for. So we always have to balance a little bit. by culture and by sales. And, you know, we've got a lot of things, you know, as you know, are kind of talking at you.
Yeah.
So we try to balance it all really well and really respectfully.
And how about the men's line? Do you also still sell men's line as well?
Yes. Yep. We have a wallet and oh, that's actually wonderful. A wallet, a belt. It's a very small men's line. So we really were looking at last year and we thought, okay, we need to be more focused. And about 86% of our sales was women. So we decided speak to the women in our community and really and let's focus on that. And then just, you know, we have about five men's products and 3 men's sandals. And so listen, we're not forgetting about the guys. We are just acknowledging that the women hold the purse strings, literally.
Yeah. That's great. And the Sarah bag, is it also made out of recycled inner tubes?
Every single bag we make has the inner tube bottom. So that's kind of like one of our signatures, just like the sole of the sandal. Yeah. And this is some gorgeous cow skin leather. And this bag, oh, I had it at a photo shoot, so it's full of stuff. But it's got a nice liner and inner pockets and a zipper.
Wow.
It's a zipper bag too.
Wow, that's fantastic.
Yeah. So this bag is gorgeous.
Yes.
Love that bag.
Yes. Oh, that's great. I feel like I started wearing is it Hand Sandals?
Yeah.
The slides. Yes. My daughter loves it. It's just such a great, and the slides are actually hard for my more for my feet normally, but it fits so well and it doesn't come off, it doesn't slide off. It's just perfect. I'm just in awe of what you've created.
Work on next is, you know, I think having a more comfortable bottom, right? So I think, you know, the tire definitely molds to your foot, and this is a nice foam cushion. But I do think, you know, if we've heard a lot from some of our older customers that they would appreciate, you know, a softer, more malleable insole. So I mean, that would be something I'd love to look into. You know, you can always do better. You can always do more. And so we're very, very satisfied with the collection now, but of course we want to do better. So.
Oh my goodness. I feel like I'm looking forward to the colorful ones to be on the website. Yeah. Thank you so much. What's your favorites out of all of the styles? So one for sandal, one for bags.
Oh, well, hands down, my favorite bag is the tote bags. I mean, so it's because I'm lazy. So, and
you pop everything in.
Because it's open and you don't have to close it. You don't, it's just, and I slip, and I'm a laptop person, so my laptop goes right in there. And then last season, we put a pocket in Heidi's recommendations. We could put our phone and our keys. It was
perfect.
Honest. So the Classic City tote bag is definitely my favorite bag. And then from the sandals, oh, I don't know. I like them all so much. I really do. I like them all so much because my slides, I would say I wear more because they're just easier. And now that I'm in Florida,
slip on. Yeah.
But these they dress things up. Like in Florida, especially, we're casual, and so but I can go out in a dress in these and feel.
That's great.
You know.
Yeah.
So I mean, I haven't worn heels. I maybe worn heels a dozen times in the last decade.
Oh, that's so great. Yeah. I'm really looking forward to seeing what you come up with next and to continue what you're doing. Please do share with us like the stats, you know, like always, all the information I feel like you're sharing us is so valuable. And something that, you know, we don't see in our face often enough, I feel like. Yeah. And I know you know it by heart and you're always, you know, facing it even in like daily lives. I think, Sarah, for example, like, you know, on a daily basis, you're interacting with everything from the success to victory to, you know, challenges and everything. But yeah, if you can keep on sharing with us like your journey as well as what the impact you always, you know, have and what we can do to also contribute, it's always helpful.
For giving us this opportunity to share our stories, you know, I mean, that's been amazing. And I think I told you earlier, your Instagram stories are so awesome.
Oh, no.
I'm like, I just really started really narrowing down our Instagram feed, and then I'm like, I know I need to do stories, and I saw yours. I'm like, you're so good at it.
Oh, but it's a tool, but there's all these sorts of rules, but do authentic you, and I think we all appreciate what you do in that way. So
Well,
thank you so much.
Appreciate you, and I
Yes.
wasn't kidding. You have left a lasting impression in Haiti.
Oh,
We'll
I'm so glad.
back.
Something. I'm so glad. All right, I'll talk to you offline, and
Okay.
thank you so much for today for joining us, and thank you to Sarah as well.
Thank you, Sarah.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate you.
Bye. I'll see you soon.
Okay, bye.
Bye.